So before starting any work on the Prelude, going to need a few parts. Going to need the brake and clutch pedal for a manual Prelude, and you're also going to need a clutch master cylinder. There's two choices that you could use for the clutch master cylinder. There's the OEM style master cylinder, and then it's going to have a line connecting to the reservoir. Or you could also use the clutch master cylinder from S2000, which needs a little bit more modification, and I chose to go that way. Having the S2000 clutch master cylinder just gives the engine bay a cleaner look. It has no performance gains though. The con of having an S2000 master cylinder is that it's so down low, you need a funnel to just fill it up. So once you have those parts, you're going to need to get the clutch pedal and outline the base of the clutch pedal that connects to the firewall onto a piece of cardboard. You kind of want to use a thick piece of cardboard just so it doesn't flex, and you kind of keep the dimensions as true as possible. Alright, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take out the brake pedal. And there's 4 12s on it. I don't know if you can see in there how good you can see. There's 4 12s at the base behind the brake booster. And then there's another 12 on top. A bolt that goes on top of like the firewall. When I take it off, you guys will see exactly how it's put on and taken off. There's also like a pin that has a cotter pin in it connected to the brake booster. Alright, so I got the brake pedal off, and here's the other brake pedal for the standard. There it is right there. Now, like I said, to take it off right here, there would be 2 bolts, so 2 nuts, so 4 nuts in total. 4 nuts in total, and then up top on the brake pedal at this hole you're going to have a bolt, which is this bolt right here, which is also a 12. To get the pedal off of the brake booster, you have to take this pin out, which is in the back of the pedal. Let me turn it over real quick. Right there at that hole, there'll be a fork connected to it, a push rod, and then it's just in there like that with this cotter pin in it. Bend the cotter pin straight and just pull it out, and it would be in that hole, if you can see on the pin. So yeah, so that is out. What helped me get to this bottom bolt right here, I took out the column cover. Alright, now that we got the brake out, we have room to work, and going to go ahead and put the clutch pedal in. To put the clutch pedal in, you're going to go ahead and have to draw up and outline the base of the pedal, of the clutch pedal. So here I have it right here already made. Trying to find the center of the master cylinder hole. The master cylinder itself is only about 1.2 inches, so going to go ahead and cut out 1.5 inches. This is 2 inches in diameter of the clutch pedal, but we're not going to use all the 2 inches of that. And go ahead and just mark where the bolts come through. Go ahead and cut that out, cut this out, and underneath you can see where I've taken out the foam right here. That is where you're going to go ahead and start drilling at. But I'm going to go ahead and put this template up there. I'm going to go ahead and mark the holes for the bolts. I'm going to do the bolts first because the master cylinder has to line up before the center can even go in. So you're going to go ahead and do the bolt holes first. So you just go ahead and peel that out. There should be like a, you can see right there of what the firewall, the padding of the firewall, and also up on top, you probably can't see it, but I also went ahead and took off some of that. These are the pieces to the firewall. Like I said, you just go ahead and take them out, chunk them out. This is the one for the top. You're going to have to go ahead and drill a bolt hole right here for the top of the pedal. And just like the brake pedal, it's going to have a bolt that goes up in there. So, first thing, I'm going to go ahead and mark for these bolt holes right here. After you go ahead and mark for that, you're going to go ahead and put the pedal where it should be on those holes, and then make sure the pedal's straight. Always make sure the pedal's straight, or then you're going to have like a crooked pedal, and I mean, it's just going to look whack, you know. So hopefully I don't get a crooked pedal. To help drill the holes in the firewall, after I had marked it, I used the metal punch and a hammer just to lightly tap it, so when I drill it, the drill wouldn't walk off the center of the mark. Alright, so I got the holes cut. I'm about to drill with the bigger drill bit. The first one was just a small one because I drilled it with the small one and made sure if the holes are still centered, and one of them is off centered, so when I come up with this bigger one, I know to kind of move the hole a little bit downwards. There's the holes down there. The bottom one just needs to come down a little bit down to like the right, the bottom right, and then the top one is good. Alright, so I made the holes bigger, and I already marked for where the hole for the master cylinder, the center. You know, I had to buy the tool for it. Then I also had to get this one. Like I said, the master cylinder is 1.2 inches, probably a little bit less than 1.2 inches. So I'm just going ahead and put a 1.5 inch hole in it. So that's what I'm gonna go ahead and do right now. Alright, the hole has been cut. As you could tell on the bottom one, I had to move it over a little bit so everything would line up straight. That's the only imperfection on it, but no one's gonna see it. So to me, it's okay. I already fitted the master cylinder. This is the master cylinder I'm gonna be using. The S2000 master cylinder, OEM. And here's the hole. It's a little rough on the edges, so I'm just going to go with my Dremel with 240 grit sandpaper. I'm going to go ahead and sand those edges down, and then I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of paint on the bare metal so it doesn't rust. After I sanded it down, I sanded this side and on the inside to make sure the metal is smooth, there's no rough edges. And then I just cleaned it off with some acetone. Then I used this rust protector spray. It's a clear spray. I just sprayed it on the bare metal so I won't get any rust in the future. Later on it is going to be painted. I'm going to go ahead and put in the brake pedal right now. I cleaned it all up with 409, took off all the old grease and stuff, and then I re-greased it. And let me see. Yeah, everything's pretty clean. So yeah, I'm going to put everything back as is. Again, we got the 4 12mm nuts right here. Then we got a bolt that goes up here, up in the firewall. Another 12mm, and I just got to connect that. Put in the pin that connects to the back of the pedal, and put in a cotter pin, and that should be it for the brake pedal.
Seeing these faces of how it used to be,
Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and put back the column cover, the steering column cover. I cleaned it up, and I'm just gonna throw it back on.
times they used to be, reels of emotion.
So the brake pedal's in there, everything's all bolted up, all cleaned up. Got the hole for the master cylinder. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and test fit the pedal. This is where you finally get to see how straight the pedal actually came out. So to test fit the pedal, going to have to put the master cylinder in there. This is a S2000 master cylinder. I'm just going to go ahead and take this part off so it doesn't get in the way of test fitting the pedal. Alright, there's the hole. Going to go ahead and put in the master cylinder. Put it in there like that. So got the master cylinder in there. From factory and manual cars, they usually have like a second layer of metal around the master cylinder, and it has like some tubular reinforcement. It's about a 1/4 inch thick. And so since this isn't a factory standard car, what I'm gonna do, I got some washers right here. Had to get about 4 of them for each side to add up to about a 1/4 inch. So I'm gonna go ahead and put those washers on there, and then just gonna go ahead and tighten it. Well, put the pedal on, tighten it down. Also, you have to get these nuts because they do not come with the master cylinder. So this is something else you also have to get. So the nuts for the master cylinder, and you have to get these washers to reinforce it. If you don't, the clutch engagement will be high, and you could possibly be flexing your firewall because it doesn't have that reinforcement. Later, I plan on adding the OEM reinforcement for the clutch pedal. I just have to find a prelude that I can take it off of. The reinforcement is actually tack welded onto the firewall, so I'm going to have to drill out those tack welds, and then going to have to transfer it to my car and tack weld it onto the firewall. Alright, as you can see, I put the washers on there. Now I'm going to go ahead and put the pedal up, and I'm going to go ahead and tighten it down with those two nuts right there.